So very good, gentlemen. Good morning. This is not the first time that I'm trying to record such kind of thing, but I adjusted some parameters into the camera so that what is recorded, as a matter of fact, is just proportionally in high definition with respect to how important it is, just what I textually say. Reckoning also how to say it. Well, there is one story about which I never talked to anyone in this last 25 years, neither before, because hardly I could at the time read or write. But after some things that have happened all around the globe, the economical crisis, the Ukrainian war topic, and other things, and also things I personally underwent. Well, this thing, which I initially judged completely insignificant, something that no one would listen to at all, gained some extreme importance. Well, everything started approximately, 20 years ago, when I was 16 years old, when I read a book entitled Understanding Computers and Cognition, which offers one of the best, so to speak, reviews of Martin Heidegger's philosophy and what kind of wisdom one can gain from it, which is still applicable in this modern world after a century which went through. In the meantime, now, is it still recording? Very good. Around when I was 11 years old, approximately 11 years old, my family core underwent a personnel loss of personnel, and I never considered, that's very important to remark, I never really considered myself part of this family core because of heavy cultural differences. As a matter of fact, it is no surprise that I'm talking about Heidegger or other times about super modern things like space telescopes or latest results in computer technology or modern electronics. It's no surprise. But no, I never considered myself real part of it because there was a very, very, very plainly clear incompatibility. But this loss of personnel, however, caused something that a lot of... Moment, please. This vehicle is going on. They use physics as well, of course. It happened that because of this loss of personnel of the family core, a lot of housekeeping stuff, which I hated and still hate, fell on my shoulders, so that I had to do them. And I almost immediately realized that there were two ways to deal with this, to cope with this. One was total desperation. And the other is to start making an experiment. which consisted in making a very thorough analysis, day by day, hour by hour, second by second, of what problems the inadequate personnel, loss of insufficiency of personnel, which is anyway easily generalizable than it was for me, easily generalizable to, for example, consequences of inadequate personnel had. What kinds of what Heidegger calls these breakdown situations are like. I have been I invited to parties and things when I was very young, as we could say a child, to parties and so on, but in families where everything just seemed for me to run by itself. I say again, to run by itself, and I couldn't understand how so many things in so complex tasks could be completed or could complete themselves alone. And I utilize a situation of insufficient personnel to try to analyze how things become ready at hand and analyzable because everything fails all the time. I'm trying to play a video game, which is fantastic, but I'm distracted from the fact that, hey, I have something to cook. Then I do it, but I'm playing the video game, then the bell rang, and then I suddenly have like a sort of shock, and accidentally my arm moved, and the plate fell, and not just I realized I had to clean all the stuff, but also the meal went unutilizable. And so I had to pause the video game, interrupt the whole tension, which this great game deserved, and so on and so on. And so, as this went on for years, and even my analysis became even more and more sharp over the time, even sharper over the time, to be correct grammatically. When this, like 20 years later from the start of this sort of experiment, when certain things of this crisis situation, economical crisis, the war stuff, the inflation, the raise of prices, lots of problems, I realized I was probably one of the most prepared people on the face of the earth because of this initially started experiment on what it is like when there is insufficient personnel. Of course, it took practically nothing to figure out how to generalize the acquired knowledge, but much better wisdom, much better formulated wisdom after all this. And I just wanted to share this story that from something that seemed a catastrophe, but not so catastrophic, because there is no catastrophe involved, but a situation of uncomfort. I did an analysis which allowed for me and to all the others who are listening to this and who will read things I wrote. One is about human error in general, but it's not yet completed. Why? Because my computer broke down. And I had to change system, and I was uncomfortable with it, but whatever. To gain a better wisdom, so that the problems which have recently happened become completely obsolete for the future minds. And of record, this was Simon alias the Nerd of Algorithms. Perfectly 10 minutes completed. The date. December 2022. I say again, December 2022. End of record.